Hello everyone, TMMgamer here, and today I have the pleasure of bringing you another one of my FIFA 13 gameplay commentaries. Now this one, once again, is just going to be a little bit of a random commentary. Don't have too much planned to talk about today, but I just thought, you know what, it's been a while since I've uploaded a video, let's get one up and let's talk. And before I get into that, let's quickly talk about the gameplay. This was one of the games I recorded in preparation for my Brazil team tutorial, because what I always like to do whenever I do a team tutorial is play 3 or 4 games with them, make sure that the tactics and the formations that I've set up with them really do make sense and play well, and then I pick the best of those, use that for the commentary, and I just use this recording for little bits and pieces like this, or for clips for the tutorials. So this is a pretty nice game. I take quite an early lead in this one, and I pretty much control it all the way through. As you can see, I scored very early on there, but this is a game where I really should have won by more. I think in the first half I had possession stats in the mid-60s, and overall, over the course of the entire game, I think I had a very, very solid 60%, 59% possession stat. And then I'm going to give you a little bit of a spoiler. I only end up winning this 2-1, and I think this is a good game to watch, just to check for what little mistakes I make, because in FIFA, and especially in seasons, you really do need to take your chances, because it's just so easy to score goals. You're not going to be rock solid every minute of every game. When you dominate games, you really have to, turn that possession and turn your dominance into goals. And I do this very well at the start, and then it always normally happens, I just take my foot off the gas a little. And you see this happen in real life for football teams. They get a lead, they go, right, we're better than these guys. We can just coast the rest of the game. That's a very, very dangerous thing to do, because it only takes one mistake and then the guy's back in the game, and then all of a sudden he's got a little bit of momentum up, and you can go from being very, very comfortable to losing a game in a heartbeat. So got to be a little bit careful of that, and this is a good game to just show how I play, and another way to play with Brazil, just on the back of my team tutorial. But that's enough on that. I'd just like to quickly apologise as well. I sound incredibly bunged up. I know I've been trying to shake a cold off for about a week or so now. That's one of the reasons why I haven't been uploaded, because it would just be literally me dribbling and sneezing, and no one wants to hear that. I mean, it doesn't matter how much you like FIFA, you don't want to hear someone coughing, sneezing and snotting for 15 minutes. But I feel reasonable today. I feel good enough to get a commentary in anyway, so I thought I would. And first little bit of news I want to get out. I've actually finished building my gaming PC. It is completely finished. It is sitting there right on my bottom left, and it's all looking very, very shiny and great. The only problem is my operating system hasn't arrived yet. So I basically have a very expensive brick sitting in my bedroom at the moment, which isn't ideal. But the great thing is I am expecting the operating system to arrive today. So that should mean I have my PC set up by later today, which means all of those great new PC games that are coming out, or any PC game at all, will be ready to go from tonight. And this is really, really going to help me, because it's going to just cut my render time so much. For example, for this video now, I reckon it's going to be about 14 minutes. I'll just check to the end of... Yeah, it's about 15 minutes. And to render this, it will take probably about an hour and 45 minutes on my laptop. So that's obviously very, very slow. And because my laptop's old, I can't really do anything in the background, which is fine when I'm at home. And I'm at home on my own, because obviously my mum has her own PC, because if she had to borrow my PC, that would be really awkward. So I can go on there and do my job searching or whatever, and it doesn't affect me. But what it does mean is, obviously, when I do get a job, it'll enable me to get the render times cut down so much. So it will enable me to continue my YouTube channel when I have a job. And that's what I want to do, because I love doing YouTube. It is another source of revenue for me. In fact, it's my only source of revenue at the moment, which is very, very useful. But I have a passion for video games, and I really enjoy talking about them. I enjoy playing them, and I enjoy doing this channel. And this computer is definitely going to enable me to continue to do that. So that's the fantastic bit of news there. Just one other little bit of news. Hopefully, if my PC is all done and dusted by tonight, Rome Total War gets released later tonight, so what I was thinking of doing is just doing some battle commentaries. I don't know whether I'm going to bother doing a full-on campaign playthrough, because I quite like getting really immersed in my playthroughs. I always take a long time to do all the turns. I micromanage everything, and if you're just sitting there watching me, perhaps that might not be the most interesting thing to watch. But if you guys want to see that, definitely leave me a message and ask. But what I was thinking of doing to start with, every single Total War game normally comes with historical battles, and I know, for example, one of them is going to be the Battle of Teutoburg Forest, which is one of the famous defeats of the Roman army when they get ambushed in Germania by local tribes, and basically they get completely and utterly decimated. And in that side, you can play as either the ambushing tribesmen, or you can play as the Roman legionaries trying to escape. So I'll definitely be uploading those battles. It just enables me to do all of this now. It finally enables me to expand my gaming repertoire out, get all of these videos rendered much quicker, and go from there. So hopefully you'll see some Rome 2 footage coming up in this next week. And what I'm going to be looking to do is get everything geared up for FIFA 14, because the FIFA 14 demo comes out, I think, on the 10th of September, so it's really not long to go now. And I know, the FIFA 13 traffic has really slowed down, and I've seen this from my views. My views really have dropped recently because FIFA 13 is coming to the end of its life cycle. Everyone is looking forward to 14 now, and the great thing is when the demo comes out, I'll be able to actually analyse the feel, and what I'll probably do is get a pre-tutorial out. So I'll be looking at the demo, I'll play through it, I'll analyse the feel, say what I think's different between 14 and 13, and say really where you need to be looking to improve and practice on the demo. Because the great thing about having a demo for a game is it enables you to get ahead of the curve, because in every single FIFA that's ever been released, there's always been a big enough change to make the previous game feel different. I mean, for example, between FIFA 13 and FIFA 12, they brought in the first touch mechanic, and that dramatically changed how you have to manage your players and move them around and how you build attacks, because holding that sprint button really can screw you over in FIFA 13, and so many people just used to charge around holding that sprint button down and suffer no negative effects. I've just invented a new word there, negative, very nice, but they used to suffer no negative effects pretty much. And with 13, obviously that changed dramatically. The first touch mechanic is a lot more realistic now. Players will do bad touches if they're trying to run quickly or in bad weather. So it really did put an ultra reliance on being very, very careful with what you do with your players, and there's going to be no doubt at all that 14 will bring something in that changes the feel of FIFA again. So it's always good to put a couple of hours of gameplay into a demo. You're never going to perfect the game in that demo period, and there's always some slight tweaks between the demo and the full release, but what it does enable you to do is understand that feel a lot more quickly than the other players who just go straight into release day, go straight online with their bronze ultimate team, and then are on the wrong end of several ass whoopings before they actually get into the game. So it's always a good thing to play. I'll be uploading videos in the demo, definitely. Do a couple of just walkthroughs, team guides, all of that good stuff. But let's talk a little bit about football, because last video I talked a little bit about Aston Villa, and I think that was pretty well received, and I've had a lot of comments over the months and years past asking me why I don't talk about normal football as much, because obviously I'm a big Aston Villa fan. I follow the Premier League most stringently, but I always like looking at Spanish football, German football as well to a lesser extent, and I don't really check out Italian football at all, partially because it never seems to be on, and obviously I check out internationals and Champions League whenever they're on. So let's talk about the two fixtures that were on at the weekend, the Liverpool-Manchester United derby game, and obviously the North London derby between Spurs and Arsenal. And bearing in mind, I am recording this on transfer deadline day, so chances are there will be many, many transfers coming up over the next 24 hours. And that's something I want to talk about. Probably in another video I'll do a transfer roundup at some point. But what I wanted to talk about today is just how disappointing I think Man United were. I mean, you listen to David Moyes' press conference after, when he said they played really well, and it was the best he'd seen them play under his management. And to be honest, I thought that was a very, very inaccurate way to describe the performance, because Man United weren't terrible, but they weren't title contenders by any stretch of the imagination there. I mean, you had to look at that team which won the Premier League quite easily last season, and really they only had one meaningful chance all game, the Van Persie chance late on. And this is the main worry for me looking at Manchester United, and this has been the main problem they've had for a long time. They don't have any midfielders who either create a lot of goals or score goals. And there was a great stat I heard on Sky Sports News earlier, that the last time they had a midfielder who scored 10 or more goals a season was Paul Scholes in 2002, I think it was. So that just goes to show that for a very long time they have lacked that, explosive central midfielder who's going to score them, 10 goals a season, who's going to get them another 10 assists and take the pressure off Van Persie. Because you looked at that team yesterday, you've got Danny Welbeck who scored 1 Premier League goal all of last season. I mean, he scored 2 already this season, but he's hardly prolific. Michael Carrick's not going to get you goals. Tom Cleverley's not going to get you many goals. Valencia, Nani, Ashley Young, they pop up with 4 or 5 goals a season, but that's not enough really. So basically, you're reliant on one player to score all of your goals, and that's a massive problem. So Van Persie had an incredible season last year. He was the best striker in the Premier League, but you can't rely on him to do that all the time. He's going to have games where he doesn't play well or he doesn't get the service, and you need another way to score goals. So I think that's what Manchester United are really lacking, and you saw that yesterday. And they didn't score against Chelsea, they didn't score against Liverpool. 2 goalless games as Manchester United is not a fantastic start by any stretch of the imagination. So I definitely think they need to strengthen that in that area. I mean, you look at Liverpool as well. I think top 4 is still going to be a big ask for them. Obviously, it was a massive win. And 3 wins out of 3 is a very, very good start. But for me, I can't see them getting any higher than 5th. And I know they've signed Thiago Iori, I think that's how you pronounce that, and Sacco from PSG. 2 very, very good signings, and that will help strengthen them at the back, because the Agger and Skirtle partnership was pretty average last season. And they really did fall from a great height, because the season before they were rock solid, and then last season they were very, very dodgy. And Mignolet's look good in goals, so they're definitely strengthened, and they're definitely better than they were last season. But when you look at the signings Spurs have made, and great little segue there onto Spurs. Spurs have really strengthened, and one of I think their best signing wasn't even available yesterday. Christian Eriksen was ineligible to play. He is a fantastic player. I mean, he was linked with Dortmund in the summer, and no bad player gets linked with Borussia Dortmund. He really is a great signing. I mean, just look at the players they've brought in. Paulinho, Chadley, Soldado, Christian Eriksen. There's so many talented players. I think they are actually stronger than they were last season. So you've got Spurs who are massively strengthened. You've got Arsenal who have to strengthen today. I mean, Arsenal, if they don't make signings today, I really can't see them making top 4. Because like I've mentioned, Spurs, they lost North London derby, but that's one fixture. Arsenal, we beat them 3-1 at the Emirates. Aston Villa beat them 3-1. On that day, Arsenal were average. I think they managed 3 shots on target the entire game, which for a home game for a top 4 club, a Champions League club, against a team that last year nearly got relegated, to have that few shots on target is just atrocious. So they definitely need something. They need strengthening in the central midfield. They need a ball-winning midfielder, and that's why I think having Luis Gustavo would have been outstanding. And I can't believe he chose to go to Wolfsburg. Arsene Wenger should have pulled the money out of the pocket there for him. But they definitely need someone like that. They've been linked with Mesut Ozil as well. I think Ozil would be a good signing. Whether he goes to United, though, that is the question. If rumours are he could go either. But I think Ozil would fit the bracket nicely for both those clubs. Because, you look at Arsenal again, they don't have a massive supply of goals. Olivier Giroud is not particularly prolific. He's a good, solid striker, but he's not a Van Persie. They haven't replaced Van Persie. And then that means you're relying too much on players like Theo Walcott and Santi Cazorla to get you a lot of goals. And that doesn't really happen. So probably a defensive reinforcement, a central attacking midfielder, and a holding midfielder for Arsenal. Spurs, I can't see them making any more signings. I mean, they've already strengthened dramatically, but all of this really does make the race for the top 4 very, very tight and exciting this year. Because I think all 4 of those teams I've mentioned, Manchester United being the real obvious ones, but I think all 4 of them are definitely in a battle for 4th place. I mean, United will probably finish higher than that, but Liverpool, Spurs, Arsenal, it might be between those 3 guys for 4th place. And at the moment, if no side makes any more signings, I am going to have to go for Spurs. That is my personal tip for top 4, because they've got a regular source of goals in Soldado now. They've got such great depth. They've brought so many good players in. They've got a real high quality midfield, one of the best midfields in the Premier League, I think. And if you look at Manchester United, I actually think Spurs' central midfield is right up there with Manchester United, if not better. I mean, I'd much rather have a Christian Eriksen than Tom Cleverley at the moment. I know Cleverley has a lot of potential, but Christian Eriksen's a really fine player. Lamella's a good player. Chadley, great signing for under 10 million as well. Very, very good player. So you look at that squad and you think, yeah, that's definitely a Champions League potential squad. So putting my neck on the line, if I was to predict the league finish right now, I'd go for Chelsea to win the league, Man City second, United third, and Spurs fourth, with probably Arsenal 5th and Liverpool 6th. That would be my top 6. So guys, I really hope you've enjoyed the video. The gameplay has come to an end. Pretty solid win. Probably should have won by more goals than that. Really did control the game for 90% of that. But anyway, thank you for watching again. I'd be really interested to hear what you have to say, both about the Total War gameplay, the FIFA 14 and video ideas for the demo, and my random conversation about football at the end. So guys, once again, thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. And as always, have a great day.